Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
It is a Write That Down Wednesday here on Purple Daily. Old Macadac on the road because tonight, gentlemen, Purple Daily might bring home some hardware. Purple Daily is a finalist for a National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Award. These are essentially the most prestigious, biggest radio audio industry awards. And Purple Daily was, for some reason, maybe mistakenly chosen as best podcast, as a finalist for best podcast in America.
Second time in 3 years?
Second time in 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah, it happened like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So the sports dad might have to text me some prepared speech words or something. I don't know if so I'm out here representing Score North in it's in New York City. I will tell a travel story later as to why I'm deep in the woods of New Jersey instead of New York City, but we'll get to that story later in the show.
So theoretically, if Purple Daily wins this very prestigious award, do you get to address the crowd?
See, I haven't been told.
And will they?
I don't know.
And if you do, will they play you off?
I don't know. It's a good question. I know that it's like
you should just like any some huge long story if you win.
let me tell you about Kirk Cousins. The Kirk Cousins.
Talk to you about
era.
my family going back to my grandfather who played football at Notre Dame for
Newt Rockne. It all started in the 1920s.
I'm going to bring you up to today, but let's start 100 plus years ago.
Before we get to a Write That Down Wednesday, an accountability session, our predictions, quarterback cesspool challenge today, let's go over to Quick Trip, Judd, the official convenience store and gas station.
Stopped yesterday morning.
Oh, God, it's great. And look, I am repping the merchandise right now because I believe so much in Quick Trip, but I believe that we are going to, here it is right here. Look, folks, we are not just taking a trip to Quick Trip, but if you're watching this, you're getting an idea of exactly how much you can get there. And you're saying, well, Sports Dad, I thought it was a convenience store. And it is a convenience store, but it's really a grocery store. I mean, look at the Karuba coffee right there. We're going to round the corner. What are we going to see? We're going to see some delicious pizzas, breakfast, lunch, or dinner available at Quick Trip. Also, if you don't want to go inside, be like Declan, just put that app on your phone, order, and they will bring it out to you, perhaps while you're filling up your gas tank, so it doesn't go too far down to E like my goofy friends. Like Quick Trip, they know the best way to make your life convenient.
You know, as I was tracking my amazing wife through her first marathon and driving around and trying to hit different places, I started off, it's a 26.2 mile marathon. Figured I had like 80 cruising miles. By the time you get done zigzagging throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul, I was down to 6 miles on the dashboard, which is, by the way, plenty of time to go park the car, maybe go drive to the grocery store and back, and then maybe get gas.
Just go to Quick Trip.
Yeah.
You don't need the grocery store. That's the whole point.
I know, exactly. So, all right, let's get into how this works here. Write that down. If you're new, welcome to our prediction show every single Wednesday on Purple Daily. We do football predictions. And then on the OG edition, Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd, we open it up for any type of sports or life prediction. So it's 3 football or Vikings-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to participate, you can send a message to Declan through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled like our guy Andy is about to jump in here. But, boys... Judd had one of the great weeks in the history of Purple Daily. Write that down.
It's about time.
And you can see all the green if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, we will go through this here. So, Judd, we'll start with the bad. You did say the Vikings, you had a 3-leg parlay here. The Vikings would beat the Jets. Rodgers would be sacked 3 times. You nailed those.
Oh.
You said Aaron Jones would score a touchdown.
Oh, God, and he got hurt. Yeah.
So you were wrong about that one.
I likely would have had a perfect week.
Yeah, if he stays in the game,
I think he would have scored in that game.
For sure.
Probably gets loose on a screen pass.
No, he probably gets the C.J. Ham touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. He may have.
Anyway.
You said Nick Mullins will play in no fewer than 2 games this season. Well, I think he took the kneel down and like the Texans win. He was credited with playing in a game, and
he's
then
come in twice though.
He's
when
come in twice. Yeah.
Sam was hurt.
that's right. He did come in earlier. So he's played in 2 games. This one's correct. You said Robert Saleh would be fired in season or at the end of the 2024 season. You said that before the year started. You were correct. And then last week, you adamantly doubled down by saying Robert Saleh would be the first coach to be fired. And you didn't put this and write that down, but you doubled down even further on the Saturday Purple Picks episode saying you think that his job is in jeopardy on the flight back home from London if the Jets lose that game.
Yes.
You've been all over the Robert Saleh job security thing. Nice
Have
job.
you ever felt more validated in your history, Judd, than your Robert Saleh takes here over the last 2 months?
Probably because I've had some takes that have been right about sports in this town, but I just felt that this train wreck, it was perfect, right? Because Aaron wasn't going to be the fall guy. The guy that owns the people that own the Jets are crazy. It's like the perfect storm.
Ambassador Johnson, you mean?
Woody Johnson and his kid are nuts. So it was like the perfect storm for a guy to be. And the best part now is the report. The report is that Saleh was going into Nathaniel Hackett's office to strip him of play calling when they called Saleh and said, "We need to meet."
It's amazing, man. An amazing game of The Departed
It really
with the New York Jets.
It's the elevator scene.
And then that touchdown wasn't enough for you because you also said a few weeks back, Andrew Van Ginkel, the Ginkster,
The Gink.
will have another pick 6 at some point this season. And
Van
you didn't
Ginkels.
even need to get to the bye week for that to come off the board.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'm feeling good about
Cleaning
this.
up.
I'm feeling real good about this week.
Van
been a while since I had that much
Ginkels.
Mr. Van Ginkel's dance.
Pick Van Ginkel is another name for what they're calling him. I like that.
I like that one.
So nice job, Judd. Okay, let's
Thank
go
you.
to the next screen here where I had, I don't know, just kind of a split week. We'll start with the bad. Vikings win by 3 scores or more against the Jets. Well, they did lead 17-0 early, and then the wheels kind of came off, but that was wrong. I said the Vikings would go exactly 4-1 into the bye. It should be the week 6 bye.
Doubter.
Yeah.
But that wasn't optimistic enough. People laughed. I put out a social media video after week 1 and explained why I think the Vikings are going to be at least 4-1 going into the bye. And people I went back and looked at the comments a couple days ago. All you pessimists who follow this football team, there's no way
You
they're
said
going to
4-1. I was personally thinking 5-0, but
No, I'm
that's
saying people clowned me
I
for
know.
suggesting that they would beat the Niners and that they might beat the Jets.
No,
Not optimistic enough,
I
apparently.
guess not.
And then I did say, so this one came off the board incorrectly a couple weeks ago. I said J.J. McCarthy would do his pregame meditation routine sometime before October.
Yep.
And a loyal listener did the work that I didn't even fight this hard for my prediction. He went through the Vikings.com preseason photo albums where they post like hundreds of pictures of, there's a pregame. They have different albums for each game. There's the album walking from the bus or the flight. And then there's like the on-field pregame. And then there's like during the game. And he combed through and he found it was one of the preseason games where J.J. McCarthy was photographed like sitting on the turf with his legs crossed on an empty field doing his pregame meditation routine before he got hurt. So thank you, loyal listener, for doing the work to fight for this prediction to be correct that I apparently was unwilling to do.
Remarkable.
Oh. Okay, let's go to the listeners. And wow, like this might even trump Judd's greatest week in Purple Daily Write That Down history.
I wouldn't disagree.
We'll start with the bad. Devin said, the Vikings quarterback, he made this prediction before we knew who was going to start against the Jets, but the Vikings quarterback would outthrow the Jets quarterback via passing yards in week 5. Darnold did not get more passing yards than Rodgers. Frank said Dallas Turner would sack Aaron Rodgers twice in London, at least 2 full sacks, not half sacks. He's barely playing, so he's just since the injury.
Yep.
But then we had 3 different listeners throw touchdown passes to round out the week. Jordan said the Vikings would score a defensive touchdown against the Jets.
Ding.
Dan said the Vikings would beat the Jets, both quarterbacks would have at least one turnover, and both quarterbacks would be sacked 2 or more times. A 3-item parlay. None of those individually are like super far out there, but all of them together in a 3-item parlay
Absolutely.
is a touchdown. And then our guy Cooper, he was 3 for 3 on his predictions, by the way, 2 of them being touchdowns, including Will Reichard would make his first 3 50-plus yard field goals in the regular season.
Very nice.
And he is 3 for 3 on 50-plus yard field goals.
Cooper.
And then Nick and Chelsea predicted C.J. Ham would score at least 1 touchdown in 2024. Wow.
That's a hell of a week. Bravo, listeners.
4 for 6, 3 tuds.
3 tutties.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And then the Dexter here.
Yeah, just
It's kind of a meh
yeah.
week. On the bad side, you said Sam Darnold had 0 turnovers against the Jets and a QBR of 70+. We could only wish and hope. You said the Vikings would win by 10 points or more over the Jets. That was wrong. But you did say Will Reichard would drill a field goal of at least 50-plus yards against the Jets. And he did. Big leg Bill.
Okay.
So with that, Declan's still with a completion percentage lead, 41.9%, but Judd is creeping in here, 39.5% completions on the season. I'm at 33%, listeners at 32.8%. Listeners have overtaken the touchdown lead with 10 tuds to Judd's 9. Declan was 7. I only have 2 on the season. Need to get that touchdown total up. And then career stats, which date back to the 2021 season. By the way, the Write That Down season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So we still have plenty of runway left here. Declan all-time 37.1% completions. Judd 35.7. I'm at 33.2. Listeners 23.7. The big news here, though, is for a long time I had a wide touchdown lead on all you guys. The listeners have overtaken the career touchdown lead with 49 touchdowns. Declan and I have 48, and Judd has 42.
Bravo, listeners.
So, wow, dude.
This is an impressive performance.
Crazy.
Not joking.
No pressure on Andy coming in here. Just following the greatest week in the history of listener statistics. Andy, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Great. Thanks for having me. I'm going to try and add to that touchdown total.
Nice.
Wow. It's going to be throwing the ball down the field, Anthony Richardson style. So, yeah, what's your background as a Vikings fan? Give us a little history.
It's a sad story, Phil. So, for maybe a couple points of context, I've always lived in upstate New York, now Rochester, but of the New York variety, not the Minnesota variety.
Should have crashed at your house. I'll tell you, I'm closer to Andy than I am to where I'm supposed to be tonight.
4-hour drive to the city, Phil. So. So always lived in upstate New York, no Vikings fans. I am of the sports dad era. I'm 55, so I'm going to take you back a little bit here. I first became a Vikings fan when I was 7 years old, 1976. And it's a crazy story. I was 7. So I was reading books in my elementary school library. They had these books that there were Vikings players, Dolphins, Cowboys, and Raiders, and Steelers, kind of like the 5 popular teams at the time. And for whatever reason, I went with the Vikings. That season, of course, ended in the Hail Mary game. I was heartbroken in tears, didn't know how to handle it. And as KOC would say, away we bleep and go with the psychological torture and pain. Yeah. And I've been there ever since, and I don't know what it is. I'm not going anywhere. So.
And we're all, it's funny because we're all having a blast here. It's 5-0, and it's this unexpected success. But we all in the back of our heads are trying to figure out. We're not stupid.
Okay.
We know that at some point something's going to happen. We're just trying to figure out when it's going to happen.
So of the 3 of the most heartbreaking NFC Championship game defeats, 87, 98, 2009, what hurts you the most? Which one of those?
could I add the 2000 in there? Because that 41-0 Giants loss for living where I live was brutal.
Oof.
Okay.
That was
Makes
so
sense.
painful. But I actually have to rank that one because the field goal misses kind of piled on. But the Gary Anderson one, the Falcons game, that one was tough. I was convinced they were going, and
Oh
it
yeah.
didn't end that way. But the Giants one for me was probably the hardest one.
The Washington one in 87 sneaky though.
87.
It's sneaky because people forget like that was what off Darren Nelson's hands. I mean, and that was a good team. That was a really good team. So
Best defense in the NFL. It was a loaded defense in '87.
the problem is that they what's deceiving about their record now is that they lost all of the replacement games, so the scab games. So the record was dragged down, but that actual team was fantastic.
Yeah, because they had they were on the players were on strike, right?
For 3 weeks, I think, and they lost them all, and they made no attempt to put together a good team. Like some teams actually tried.
Yeah,
The Vikings,
it's hilarious.
the Vikings were like, screw it.
So here's what we're going to start with Andy, and then over to Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room here. Andy, you are under center, sir. Fire away.
Okay, so I've been deliberating over 4, but I'm going to narrow it down to 3, obviously. The first one, I've had this knowing that I was going to be on for a couple weeks, and you got me to end my internal debate about going with this one in the episode yesterday. So write this down. Ed Ingram is going to be replaced as a starter on or before the Rams game. I off the record, I think it's going to happen after they get Aiden Hutchinson away from Darisaw and he plows Ingram into the ground. But I think it's going to happen by the Rams game. And you guys, you pushed me over the edge yesterday with your discussion on it.
I could see. Yeah, it's going to be. I like your Aiden Hutchinson angle there too. I could see them running just twist after twist, getting into the kitchen of Ed Ingram. Old Eddie boy's got to step her up here. Judd, what's your first prediction?
All right. Write this down. Lions coach Dan Campbell will go for it on 4th down no fewer than 3 times in the October 20th game. So I believe he went for it. Was that one time? I think it was 5 times? 4 or 5 times in the game here. And then he didn't go for it. He tried to kick a long field goal. And the Lions lost because they missed the field goal attempt, and it gave the Vikings great field position. Well, good old Danny hasn't taken his foot off the gas since. So I say 3 or more times he goes for it on 4th down in the next Vikings game here at US Bank Stadium on the 20th of this month.
Yeah, and come out to the burbs, Dan. Let's have some Applebee's. I'm buying Applebee's. We'll get some wings. We'll talk 4th down calls for both sides. Come on.
This is
Great
so
time.
sad. A guy that used to be in the North Loop and go to all the hip, trendy places is now trying to get Danny Campbell out to Woodbury. Just brings a tear to my eye to see this.
So on the pie chart of why Dan Campbell goes for it on 4, I'm trying to pull up the stats here too. Does he still lead? Actually, no. The Browns have gone for it probably because they're losing all the time, 15 times, right?
Well, I'm sure Deshaun's done great.
But you know how like most organizations will say, well, the analytics justify you should go for it more. Do you think Dan Campbell leans more on analytics, or do you think he thinks that you're a wuss if you don't go for it?
He hates punters. He just hates he hates punters.
He thinks punters are sissies and shouldn't be part of the 53. Yeah. Okay, over to Declan for his first prediction.
All right, first one for me. Write this down. I'll make a prediction about that Lions game as well. TJ Hockenson and Aaron Jones will both be active for the Vikings against the Lions.
Okay.
They will both be active. So Hawkinson's been cleared to practice. Jones avoided a long-term injury, and it might be safer that TJ Hockenson plays and not Aaron Jones at this point. But we still got a good amount of time to figure that out. But I'll say both of them are healthy and they're good to go against the Lions when they get out of the bye. Write it down.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback a little bit. I'm glad you brought up TJ Hockenson here. So I don't know if he comes back for Lions, or I stated my case for why the Rams might make sense, like a fresh set of tires on a NASCAR. It's a Thursday night game.
A pit stop.
Everybody else is going to be less than 100% and maybe just a little bit sloggy, and then you bring in a guy that's fresh. He hasn't played football in like 11 months. So, but whenever T.J. Hockenson comes back, write this down. T.J. Hockenson will finish the season either top 5 among tight ends in receiving yards and or receptions.
Wow.
Kelsey hasn't really done anything meaningful this year. If you look, I think Brock Bowers leads all tight ends with like 250 receiving yards or something through 5 weeks. So or maybe it's like 300, but it's there, man. Like if he comes in and rattles off 6 catches for 75 yards a couple times, and if maybe he plays against the Rams in every game going forward, I think he could still finish, despite spotting the league a month and a half's worth of games, top 5 among tight ends in receiving yards and or receptions.
I like it.
Okay, back to Andy. Second prediction.
Okay, so I'm going to start trying to get more aggressive here. So, and Judd, I promise you, this is not a poke in your eye from the discussion yesterday about Aaron Jones, but he's got 517 all-purpose yards through 5 games. Write this down. Aaron Jones will have 1,750 all-purpose yards in 2024.
Wow.
Nice.
The only thing stopping him is health, right?
Right.
That's Declan's. I was glad to hear Declan's prediction.
Yep.
That'll be ready for the Lions game.
Yeah, they're saying it's week to week,
Yeah.
not long term, but week to week could still be a couple weeks. But if it was, they'd put him on IR if they thought it was, month to month. So I trust them.
You said 1750, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I deserve it. I doubted him. I deserve all of the
poke in the
criticism that
eye.
I get for my
See,
doubting.
I wasn't trying to get him. I wasn't trying to get
It's
him
okay.
going.
I'm telling you, brother, I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to get ahead of this one because I think I might have predicted this last year. It didn't happen. If it does not happen this year, there's a miscarriage of justice. Brian Flores will be named the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year. The Associated Press has been doing this since like 2014. It's gone to more defensive coordinators than OCs, but actually in 2017, Pat Shurmur won it as the Vikings OC. Who won it last year? Jim Schwartz, the Browns defensive coordinator, won it last year. I thought Flores had a chance then. I mean, he's got to be a shoo-in, right? At this point, like if this
Right
continues,
now,
it's
yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, Brian
Although
Flores.
Cliff Kingsbury with the Commanders, if it's
That's
only
true.
one assistant coach, he's going to be in the mix too.
That's true. But yeah, so anyway, Associated Press, NFL Assistant Coach of the Year, Brian Flores.
All right. Dex.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will agree to trade a future draft pick at this year's trade deadline. This is me kind of speaking in an existence of a trade that will happen. And they will agree to trade a future pick. And I want last year, this had to stay on the board until literally draft day. If they agree to trade a conditional pick, I want this to hit.
Yeah. So if
That makes
if
sense.
it's like we'll trade you a conditional, well, I mean,
6.
Either way you would get it because
Yeah.
if but yes, that happened last year where it was like you said multiple draft
said
picks. They would
multiple,
get
and-
multiple draft picks.
Yeah.
And we had to wait for that Ezra Cleveland like conditional 7th to
pick.
come across in April or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, write this down. I know it's funny. I see all the comments from yesterday's or Monday's hottest Vikings takes. People hammering you guys for the J.J. McCarthy would have taken over after
Well, I
the
got
bye week
destroyed on Twitter.
takes.
It was outstanding.
I'm glad you took the bullets.
I don't think I've been called that many vile things since like grade school. It was fantastic.
What's funny is we even put a warning label on the Monday episode.
Somebody finally,
Hottest Vikings takes.
somebody finally got in there and said, "This is what they like. This is the show. This is what they do on Mondays." The problem was, I think the clip that we ran, I think people just like saw the headline or they just saw a little part of it. And
Did
so,
AJ? Was it Declan or AJ that
Well, it's
clipped
just
it
a brief
out
clip.
of context?
It's a great clip, but it's just a brief clip, and so it lacks the true like total context. I'm fine with that.
So you
I
were
just
taken
got
out of
hammered.
context as your
I just
official.
got oh hell no! I got hammered the whole day. I loved it.
But Judd loves that stuff. Yeah, Judd like enjoys all that stuff.
And Judd, how are we supposed to win a National Marconi Award if it's tepid takes, right? I think
Exactly
hottest
right.
takes.
Starting after the Detroit game, October 21st, I am just going to have my lukewarm take of the day.
We should, you know what we should do? We should counterbalance another day during the week where we've got our hottest takes on Monday, and then we've got our wishy-washiest takes on Wednesday. Wishy-washy take Wednesday.
I love that. That should
I'm
be fun.
fairly certain, but you could convince me otherwise that this is going to happen.
The Vikings are better than I thought they'd be. Next.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, I bring it up not to dunk on you, but to say I think Sam Darnold is going to bounce back against the Lions. And so and I also need some more touchdowns. So I'm going to give you a 3-item Darnold bounce back parlay against the Lions. So write this down. He's going to have more yards than Jared Goff. I'll say more all-purpose yards than Jared Goff. I think old Darny Dimes could
Don't let her miss it.
tuck and run. He's also going to account for 2 or more touchdowns with his arm or legs, and will get a game ball. He did not get a game ball.
And will not smile.
No, that's off the record, but yeah, he's generally an emotionless robot.
He's just like,
post-games.
KO's like, you bleepers, this is the greatest thing. Let's give it up for 14 people doubted him. What do you got to say, Sam? Hey, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Sup.
Thank you.
Sup, y'all.
Pizza?
All right, over to Andy for his third and final prediction here.
Okay, so I'll let you guys be the judge of whether this is a touchdown or not. But it's I've been on the bandwagon that Judd constructed about the quality of the defense since probably OTAs, and so write this down, three portion parlay here. This season, the Vikings defense will finish top 5 in points allowed, top 5 in turnovers created, and top 5 in sacks.
Oh, yeah.
They're tracking, man. They're tracking right now, for sure. And you could argue that the hardest part of their schedule has already happened. Like, they've already played some really good offenses and quarterbacks. So, Andy, awesome stuff, man. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now as a longtime Vikings fan, is there anyone in your life you'd
get
like
it all
to
out
thank?
now, Andy? Just get it all out. Cleanse yourself.
Well, it's so I kind of have four parts to it. A couple of which I left out of my how did I get to be a Vikings fan, but I live here in Bills country, and it's brutal. I can't imagine what it would be, what it used to be like. I've tried to put it out of my mind without, the internet and podcasts and whatever. I used to be a subscriber to the Bob Lurtsema Viking Update. I used to wait by the mailbox for that crumpled piece of paper to get delivered every week. So that was a lifeline. So that's number one. I would say you guys are number 2, no pandering. It's great when you don't live in the Twin Cities to feel like as a Vikings fan, you almost do live in the Twin Cities because you get a daily connection to the team, which is just, it's hard for people who live remote to understand. If you don't live remote, it's hard to understand. And then lastly, I have to thank my wife. Now, my wife is a Broncos fan, but she will watch. But before YouTube TV got Sunday Ticket, you could not get Sunday Ticket here because of the Bills blackout, because of how many people in Rochester go to Bills games. So I always go to a sports bar to watch the games. And even though I now have Sunday Ticket, I've kept that up. She goes with me. She sends me to a game every year for my birthday. So I was supposed to come to the Texans game. I got sick. I had to sell my ticket at the last minute, but now I'm coming for the Falcons game.
Wow. It's even better, man.
Kirko Chains game. That's even better.
Kirko daggering teams with 500-yard performances. Man, that's going to be the test of Brian Flores' defense.
He ain't seen that defense yet.
No, yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, Great work here, Andy. It was fun to meet you and hear about your Vikings fan story, and we'll definitely get you on again sometime. All right.
That would be great. Thanks, much appreciated.
Good
Awesome.
stuff, Andy.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
your
Thanks, Andy.
predictions. So, before we get going with our final predictions, our quarterback cesspool challenge picks, and a travel horror story, how's that tune-up coming along there, Judd? Livia?
It's coming along excellent to the tune of, get this, 13 plus pounds in 3 weeks. That's right, 13 plus pounds, because I decided, you
guard
know
out
what?
there.
It's tune-up time, sports dad. It's tune-up time. You see the guy on the left. You see the guy on the right. The guy on the right gained a few pounds back, and he said, you know what? Oh, no. I'm not going down that path.
I think 13 is enough to get an update. Let's get an updated current photo of you, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
The only
of course.
problem
Can you have Dawn
Yeah.
take one?
Yeah, thank you. That's what I need.
I'm
I
not
need
taking
your
it
lovely
myself.
wife.
No,
yes,
no,
I need
no.
your lovely wife to send me one.
Janky lighting.
Yes.
Anyway, Livia Weight Control Centers
Good.
is changing lives through weight loss. They are changing lives through support, a program that is simple to follow. It's easy. And again, the most important thing to me is no judgment. You don't go in and they say, you've gained a pound. They say, you know what? We're going to take that pound off. We are going to help you drop that weight. You join their nutrition plan today. You're going to get the first 8 weeks for free. That's right. I said it. First 8 weeks for free. Imagine all of the weight that you can lose in that time. Just check them out. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. Livia.com. Locations all around the metro. But if you are like Andy, a displaced Vikings fan who watches us, guess what? The whole thing can be done virtually. So inside or outside the state, Livia works for you. Livia.com is your first step towards a healthier 2024 into 25.
Amen. I got 2 words for Declan. Fall golf.
Can't wait. Playing some fall golf on Saturday down under as in Iowa, not down under as in Australia.
Well, you-
Just want to
you
make that
fooled
very
us.
clear. Make that very clear. I'm not taking a 16-hour. Is it 16 hours? 16-hour flight around.
Sounds
I'm
right.
taking
Got to
a
go to Los Angeles.
taking a 3 to 4 hour drive down to see Luka Garza and the Wolves. But I will also be taking down my PXG clubs. I'm very excited to be swinging these the last few months. I love fall golf. And for our Purple Daily audience, go take the PXG Challenge. Find a location near you, no matter if you're around in Minnesota or around the rest of the country. PXG.com/purple. That code will also get you $10 off a club. That's PXG.com/purple.
You know, it's a holiday light season, and well, you might think, no, it's not. I'll tell you what, it is. It is year-round at the Mackey residence. We are all in on decorations. So KW Outdoor Solutions is here to help you get rid of that anxiety feeling when it comes to outdoor holiday lights. It's just maybe it's a pain for you. Maybe you think it's dangerous. I don't know, climbing up ladders and things. Well, KW Outdoor Solutions offers design, installation, maintenance, takedown, and storage, roof lines, trees, shrubs. They will do it all. You can choose from a variety of patterns and colors, maybe a classic single color look if you're looking to be more low-key, or go full Clark Griswold on it with KW Outdoor Solutions. Learn more at kwoutdoorsolutions.com. Locally owned and operated, serving the Twin Cities metro. So, okay, Judd, your final prediction here.
So I took a lot of heat for my my hot take. I mean, it's clear. I'm going to say this.
It's clear.
It's clear about this. Now, here's my concern. I understand Darnold has overachieved, played really well. Like the last 6 quarters have been dicey, but before that, he's been great. But I feel like we're falling in love. And I'm a little bit concerned because the right one is coming up, but Sam's not the right one. So, like, I feel like we're falling in love with I don't know if this is a Cousins rebound or what, but I'm going to make this very, very clear. Read my lips. Sam Darnold will not be back in Minnesota next season. Write this down. He will sign with an AFC team.
So the prediction is that
He's going to sign. He's going to sign with an AFC team. He is going to. I've been looking at the landscape of that conference. There's some jobs open there. I feel like there's some jobs that are going to come open. Some of them might be attractive. So I feel like he is going to land in the AFC.
Yeah, we will definitely do an episode. That might be a good bye week fodder, actually.
I just feel like we're falling in love, and I just caution, because like Sports Dad, I know that a lot of you hate me right now, and you should. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your Sports Dad. But Sports Dad is going to tell you right now, this is just a rebound. This is a football season fling.
Nothing wrong with a rebound.
Yeah, by the way, like, I don't know, my eyes are wide open. This is
I'm not
it's a
pointing my
summer.
finger at
Listen,
everyone.
this is the summer between high school and college, and you got
Agreed.
3 months, and you're going to go to school over on the West Coast. I'm going to go to school on the East Coast. Eyes wide open for me here with this.
No,
team.
and I agree. I'm not pointing my finger at everyone. It was just the vitriol in defense of Darnold that I felt that there was some like, no, he's been, and I feel like and I mean, we're 5 games in.
No, I think that the reason why, well, a couple things. Again, it's hottest Vikings takes on a Monday, so it's we put a warning label on it, and people are like, "Whoa!" It's like when you go to a Thai food restaurant or something, and they've got the level 0 spice up to level 5 spice.
It's always food for Phil because he's got a terrible stomach and he insists on eating it.
And if you choose level 5 spice, which is you choosing on a Monday a hottest Vikings takes edition, which we thank you for clicking play, however you did. And then they bring you the food. You ordered a 5-star spice pad thai or whatever it is, and you're like, "Whoa, this is crazy! My mouth is on fire." Yes, you opted in. I'm making a note here because it's bye week. We aren't going to have a traditional Vikings vent line on Sunday, but we will put an episode up on Sunday. That could be we'll do some probably bonus feedback, but what if our Sunday episode was just, hey, listen, we love ourselves some Sam Darnold. We also want to help him find some great situations.
Right.
So we're going to break up Sam, but we know some other guys. We know some other single friends.
So we'll
over
still
here.
be friends.
Okay. Yeah. We'll still be friends. And then we could go on double dates with me and JJ.
No.
You, the Dolphins, and you. No?
You draw a line. There's some things that are fine with interaction. There's some things that are crossing a line. That's crossing a line. That's can't do that.
See, okay, Sunday show.
Yeah.
Right there, we could talk about it.
Not that I dealt with that ever before. I'm just saying
clearly
that,
not.
yeah.
Clearly, you've never had any problems.
No. Back to Dex here for his final prediction.
All right, I'll make a little prime time parlay for the football games this week in the NFL. I'll have the Niners beating the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football tomorrow. I have the Bengals beating the Giants on Sunday Night Football. And I have the Bills beating the Jets on Monday Night Football. Parlay. Okay. All 3 of those. Those are my 3-item parlay pick'ems for this week. So Niners win, Bengals win, Bills win. Write it down.
Okay. Let's go with this one here. Write this down. I think Robert Saleh is a great defensive coach. And I don't know if we know that he's a good head coach because he got stuck with one of the worst organizations to ever be a head coach. Like, we thought Todd Bowles was garbage, and then he goes to Tampa. We're like, oh, maybe it was the Jets that are garbage and not Todd Bowles. So I'm just going to predict this. Robert Saleh, so he's going to be a defensive coordinator again. Robert Saleh will coordinate coordinate or head coach a top 5 scoring or yardage defense in 2025 or 2026. I'm going to put that out there a little bit long term.
Well,
and it might be
off the record.
Replacing Brian Flores in Minnesota.
I could see that.
The Shanahan
O'Connell
connection.
All these guys.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. I think he's really good.
O'Connell went on McAfee yesterday and all but said Robert Saleh was a great coach before that job. He'll be a great coach after that job. Well, essentially saying it's not Robert Saleh.
Don't forget, to go back to the Hard Knocks clip with O'Connell as a player, he was cut by he's seen the Jets. I think once you've seen inside there, you probably are scarred for life.
Yeah.
So he's seen the inner workings of that. And they are, make no mistake, a trash organization.
Yes. So those are the Write That Down predictions every single Wednesday here on the show. One of the all-time great weeks in the history of Purple Daily Write That Down for Judd and the listeners. Yeah. 5 combined touchdowns.
I think the listeners are 1, Judd's 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
3 tutties is unprecedented, possibly.
Very, very impressive. All right, it's time for our quarterback cesspool challenge here, where we look and hunt for the worst quarterback play in the NFL every single week. It's a weekly celebration of crappy quarterback play. So each member of the show picks or drafts a quarterback that we think is going to be bad for this upcoming week's games. Once we use a quarterback, you can't use him again. It's like a survivor pool. And we all must draft different quarterbacks every single week. The scoring is very simple. We're looking for the lowest QBR on a 0 to 100 scale. So let's check the results from last week.
This is. I got questions.
You have questions? Are you
not about you two, about just like Derek Carr's stat line. I have no idea how this equals a 60. Like if a 65.2 QBR right now would be the 8th best QBR in the NFL. And in
this is
game,
only for it looked bad.
And in that game, he threw for like 140 yards, threw a terrible interception, like didn't do anything to prove that he had an above average day. And somehow the formula spits out, he had an above average day.
Everything you just said, and I will translate that argument to my guy Aaron Rodgers, who somehow still put up a 42.7 QBR despite it being visually and statistically one of the worst games he's played in 20 years.
Can we talk about the guy that won, please? Can we talk about the winner? The guy who had the great write that down.
So you know the two guys that didn't win. Judd with Tyler Huntley, Miami Dolphins quarterback, a 35.6 QBR, takes his third consecutive weekly win here. By the way, Deshaun Watson was the lowest QBR in the NFL with 8.5 on a 0 to 100 scale. So, Judd, congrats. That's your third win. Let's pop to the next screen here where you can see the season standings. I'm clinging to the season lead, 42.1. Judd, 43.4. Declan, 56.6. Judd has 3 weekly wins on the year. I have 1. Declan has 1. So we're going to go in reverse order of last week's standings. Again, I think it's the third straight week we've done this order. So Dex gets the number 1 pick. I get the number 2 pick. And then, Judd, you pick third.
All right. I'm going to take Jacoby Brissett. He's going against... They are home. The Patriots are home this week. But they're also going against... Texans defense and D'Amico Ryan.
Judd, what do we do here, Judd?
We got problems. I don't know what to do.
What do we do
I
here,
don't know what to do. It's a professional
Drake
show.
May starting? Okay, I'll take Drake May. Drake May starts.
Okay.
Oh, we're cutthroat. Oh my
May.
God! Did we just fold?
Well, no, because the rule. I would have kept my mouth shut if the rule. So the rule now, as of this year, is if you pick a quarterback that doesn't play, you automatically get the backup, unless you've chosen the backup before. And if that's the case, we get to the third thing, which is a 50 QBR or 75. I'll check the rule book. So either way, Declan was going to wind up with Drake May. But yes, Drake May has officially been named, as of yesterday, the starter for the Patriots. He was going to be my pick, too. So Declan like backdoored into Drake May against the Texans.
Drake May.
So many options here.
Really,
you guys have both taken Deshaun Watson, so I'm trying to decide, like,
It's my only win.
he's playing at Philadelphia, which is kind of a train wreck.
God, how is he this bad?
So my conundrum is,
how is he not benched?
you guys have already used him, so I can kind of just pick the week that I want to use him.
Sure,
but he also
true.
might get benched at some point too.
Yeah, because I don't think Stefanski is starting him, despite what Kevin says. I think it's being mandated. But at what point?
Yeah.
At what point do they just throw in the damn towel?
I have to take him, and of course, I know what's going to happen. He's going to have his best game of the year. He's going to have like an 81 QBR, and I'm going to get torched here. But I'd rather take him now than have him get benched or suspended or something and not use him, because he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. So Deshaun Watson is my pick.
All right. I've been on a run. Well, I won with Cousins in week 3. I then took Watson and Huntley. So I've been on a run of using bad quarterbacks, but I hate to fire every bullet right now. Like it's week 6. It's not like, so I'd like to save some in the chamber. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go Monday night game, Bills, Jets, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
So I'm going to take Rodgers. I'm not saying he's really good, but he's also, he ordinarily, I probably would have taken, if I just continued to burn through quarterbacks, I might have taken Titans, Will Levis against the Colts, but I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna take a week
it's
off of trying to like cycle through all the bad ones because I feel like I'm going too quickly.
I could see a bounce back. I could see a short term. Jets come to life a little bit here. They rally. Rodgers is very prideful. But yeah, at some point it's hard to just because this is an 18-week exercise.
And the Bills need to respond as well. So like the Bills
Yeah.
should have some pride as well here. But I feel like that. Yeah, I could see a bounce back, but I also feel like the Jets are just like this. Just pushes the dysfunction.
Yeah. So there's the picks. All right. So Judd's going Rodgers. Dex is going Drake May, and I'll take Deshaun Watson. Do we have 5 or 10? I know we're going to record the OG edition for me to tell you guys we love our Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm
Yes, we do.
moments on this show.
To bed.
Yes, we do.
So I'm gonna tell you my last like 72 hours travel story here. But first, good thing I have AG1 travel packs with me. Let me tell you that much. When you have no idea which hotel you're staying in and it's 10:30 at night, you're not exactly getting the nutrition and food that you crave. AG1 is trusted by top athletes all over the world and top podcasters. AG1 is a simple and comprehensive foundational nutritional supplement for whole body health. Taking care of your health shouldn't be complicated. You shouldn't have to be like Tom Brady and just eat kale for every meal. AG1 replaces multiple supplements like multivitamins, digestive aids, immune support, and more in just one simple scoop or one of these really convenient travel packs. AG1 has been a part of my repertoire for 7 or 8 years. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purpledaily. That's drinkag1.com/purpledaily. Also, Federated. Shout out to Federated, longtime partner of us here at Score North, Purple Daily, helping business owners like a great offensive line, protecting, staying focused on safety and preventing claims. Federated Insurance is rooted in Owatonna, Minnesota. They are one of us, so to speak, dating back to 1904, and they understand how to protect your business unlike any other. Go to federatedinsurance.com to find out more, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. So, okay. So, we mentioned off the top of the show, Purple Daily is a finalist for a Marconi Award tonight. Very exciting. The Marconis are the annual awards for radio and podcast excellence. Excuse me. And this is the second time that we've been a finalist for Top Podcast, which is a fairly new category. I think it just came out like 5 years ago. So the award ceremony is being held in New York City tonight. And I'm here representing Score North under our parent company, Hubbard Radio. And so I was told like maybe 3 weeks ago, hey, we got room for you, Phil. Why don't you come down and maybe you guys can bring home some hardware. So I've been keeping my eye on hotels in the New York City, Manhattan area for weeks, just looking and seeing. The company pays for the hotel, but like within reason,
Right.
Like I can't just go book a
Four
penthouse.
Seasons.
Yeah. Right. So I have never seen anything like the hotel prices this week specifically, like Tuesday through Thursday in New York City. And Judd, you've come here enough for work and for like you and your wife have made trips here.
Yeah, you can find really good deals.
You can find great deals. There's so many hotels and
Right.
there's so many. So like legitimately the last 3 weeks, everything's been 800, like per night, 800, 1,000, 1,500. You could get like a 100 square foot pod for 700, just ridiculous. So I kept waiting it out, thinking something like usually the longer you wait, like stuff will pop open or there's different apps you can take advantage of. So that was my mistake. I should have booked earlier, but here we were like 3 days before this trip, and I had not booked a room yet, hoping that prices would come down. So I find an Airbnb 3 nights ago. Beautiful, like part of an apartment complex just south of Central Park, kind of by like Carnegie Hall. 5-star reviews from all like the 200 people that had stayed there. And I book it for 2 nights, super reasonably priced, like a couple $100 a night or something. And I'm, okay, this is like 3 nights ago. And I'm, all right, this is great. I am packing for this trip. Like the night, so this is 2 nights ago. I am packing, because I got here last night, so I'm packing 2 nights ago. This is at like 9 o'clock the night before I'm supposed to fly out. And the guy who owns the Airbnb hits me up and says, "I'm so sorry, but this unit is unavailable. I've been late to respond. I've just been," whatever like his excuses were, and he cancels it, and I'm now left without a room. Okay, whatever. Well, there's got to be something, right? Got to be something. So Dex and I have talked about Hotel Tonight. I don't know if you guys, the audience, are familiar, or Judd, if you've ever used Hotel Tonight.
No.
The booking app. Like 10 years ago, they founded this company where they just take advantage of last-minute inventory, unsold inventory. So you can fly into a city, or not. You can be outside the city too, but you get better rates when you fly into the city, and you can just like scoop up unused inventory if you're willing to travel to your destination or wait until like a night before, and you can get into like 4 and 5 star hotels for $120 a night or $200 a night. So I'm thinking, hotels tonight. I've had a good experience in the past. Everything right now in the Manhattan area is like $1,500, $1,000. Now it's going up again, like $1,000, $1,500 a night, just crazy. So I'm looking on hotels tonight outside of the Manhattan area, like across the bridge in New Jersey, and I find I guess I'll say the name of the brand because it wasn't the hotel's fault that this happened. It was a Hotel Tonight issue. I find a nice little Courtyard Marriott in Edgewater, beautiful little waterfront. You got the big city and skyscrapers all lit up on the other side. And so Hotel Tonight hooks me up like late into the night before I'm flying out to New York yesterday. So I'm good. All right, here we go. Ready to rock and roll. The Airbnb thing, kind of a disaster, but I got my Hotel Tonight. I fly into LaGuardia, take an Uber, and so it's like 9 o'clock p.m. and I get to this Marriott. And the woman at the desk is trying to look up the confirmation code. And she's looking, she's typing, she's furrowing her brow, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And she says, "I'm sorry, but like, where did you book this through?" And I said, "Hotel Tonight." And she said, "They never confirmed the room on our end. Like, we don't have any information for this reservation at all."
Oh, God.
And I said, "Well, can I just like book a room through you?" She says, "We are completely full, and we're even like double booked in some certain situations." So it's not a rip on Marriott. It's like it did not come through.
Right.
So it is now like 9 to 9:30 p.m. Nothing is available at all whatsoever in the Manhattan area, which I still think is impossible. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I start calling around hotels in New Jersey. I'm literally like, I need to be like the south end of Manhattan, and I'm like,
Sopranos on this.
like yeah, like it. So I'm looking for it's I'm calling around. It's now after 10 o'clock last night. I'm looking for a bed and something fairly safe. I just don't want to die or sleep with a rat, basically, right? So I find a reliable brand. They have an opening, but it's 20 minutes into New Jersey. And I get there last night at 10 o'clock, just in time for the restaurant was closing. I did get a late night meal, which was good. So here we go. All right, ready to rock and roll. And that's the last time I talked to you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's like this going through this whole fiasco. So I wake up this morning. I go downstairs, and they have like a breakfast buffet in this restaurant. So I go downstairs, and the first thing that happens is the woman who's like the hostess at the restaurant says, "Hello, is breakfast included in your stay?" And I said, "Excuse me?" She goes, do you know if breakfast is included in your stay? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just hungry. I don't know if it's included. She goes, you should go to the desk and ask if it's included in your stay. And I'm like, can I just sit down and eat and pay you? And she kind of like fumbles through, and she's like, okay. And so I don't know what that was about, but I was getting kind of weird vibes now that like the sun is rising and it's morning. Like, okay, this feels a little. So I sit down, I eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I go back to my room with my key, and all my stuff is in the room, like computer, podcast setup, suitcase. My card key doesn't work anymore. So I'm fumbling around, like both card keys, neither one of them work. Kind of it's a name brand hotel, but sort of like 30 years old decor and stuff. So I'm sitting there for 5 minutes. I can't get into my hotel room. I go downstairs after all like the stuff from the last couple days.
Yep.
I go to the front desk and I ask the woman, okay, my card key doesn't work. is there any way you can just like scan me a new one? And she looks at me like white as a ghost and says, oh gosh. Do you have to like leave for the day? And I said, no, I need to like get back in my room to work and to get dressed. I don't know, take a shower. And she goes, our card key maker is not currently operational, and there's no one here that can like get you a new card key. And I said, what? Well, is there any way you can just like get me back into my room? Yeah. And she said, the maintenance person, this is pretty early, it's like 6:30 in the morning. The maintenance person isn't on shift yet, and she's like looking for solutions. I'm like, there's no one in this building right now that can let me into my room or like get me a new room card. So I literally like waited around for an hour. She called an off-duty maintenance person who shows up at the building and finally like takes me back up to my room and lets me in the room. So I get in. But the best part about this, and the reason I want to tell this story on the show, is I get an email this morning. I reached out to Hotel Tonight about the fiasco from the previous night, right? So I'm back in my room finally. Here we go. And I had emailed Hotel Tonight earlier in the morning saying, hey, I'd like a refund for this whole thing. And I get an email from Reggie Hernandez at Hotel Tonight. I think it's just like a fake name, just like some fake AI or something. And the email says, hello, Phil. Greetings from Hotel Tonight. My name is Reggie, and I hope this email finds you well. It didn't find me well.
No,
it found me in the fetal position on my third hotel attempt, locked out of my room.
The most disturbing thing is the card key thing.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
That's a trip.
Well, I mean, it was definitely, it wasn't, it was like the older 30 years ago where you slide the card in and, you know.
Sure, but then update it to like it's, the new way, which is where you just scan it in front. Those card keys go out all the time. Like if you accidentally put your cell phone by it, like they need to be able to make, I guarantee you are not the only person who went downstairs and was told, I don't know what we're going to do.
Dude, it's, yeah. So it just, these are first world problems. But when I saw that email come in, I was like, am I part of a Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? I hope this email finds you well. A, no, you don't. And B, I am terrified that I'm going to get locked out of my room again. So anyways, if anybody has a spare bed for
I bet if you would put out on Twitter, hey, PD community, I'm stranded and don't have I bet you would have gotten a nice room to stay in.
You're probably right, but it was late. And I also just like wanted a long day of travel, just literally need a bed and a roof at that point.
I feel like the Hotel Tonight thing is very like I get it works, but that would be a nightmare.
Dex, you've had good experiences with Hotel
Loved
Tonight.
It. I've used it in
awesome.
Chicago.
Well,
I've used it in
I'll
Vegas.
If you're going for yourself, like on a fun trip or something, I get it.
Yeah.
I think if I'm going company,
well, that's obviously, like my mistake was I should have booked just booked something 3 weeks ago and whatever. But I was I don't know. Anyways, hey, traveling, everyone. This is why Judd stays at home. This is why Judd doesn't move from this couch.
You should have told your bosses, I'll just join this thing. Can I watch it virtually?
Yeah, I know. In retrospect, probably would.
And the winner is, and then they could put you up on the big screen. You could be like, I just want to talk about what this means to us. So it's going to be about a half hour here. Let's carve out some time.
So, we'll have the OG version of Write That Down on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd as well. Thank you guys for being part of this daily Vikings podcast that is maybe going to bring some hardware home, maybe not, but hopefully we all have a bed to sleep in either way.